Muito bem-vindos a outro podcast of Portuguese with Carla, podcast 16.
Olá, boa tarde, bom dia, boa noite. 16?
16.
All right.
16.
So, 16, ptwithcarla.com/podcast16. I'll say that again.
Right.
portuguesewithcarla.com/podcast16 is where you'll find all the show notes and the transcript and everything for this podcast. Welcome.
Yes. And we are going back to a holiday in Madeira.
That's right. So where were we last time? Because this was a few weeks ago.
We had
did a couple of
left the
review
restaurant,
podcasts.
grabbed a taxi to go back to the hotel room.
Paid an extraordinary amount of money to get taken 2 minutes on the
I
taxi
don't
ride.
think so, did we?
Yeah, it was €8 or something.
All right, so it is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Well, considering. So we're going to continue our scene from that because you were eager to get back home and watch the game. Well, hoping that the game was still
watch a bit
on.
of the game, yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll go straight into it,
Yeah.
shall we?
So we're going to do the scene and then translate into English and then break it down.
And then break it down slowly. Okay.
Okay. Então, amor, a tua equipa está a ganhar?
Isto não é falta. Das duas, uma. Ou este árbitro é cegueta ou foi comprado.
Parece que não. Olha lá, se calhar amanhã podíamos passar num café para experimentar as queijadas da Madeira. Disseram-me que são muito boas. O que é que tu achas? Depois podíamos subir ao Paúl da Serra, porque amanhã
Gol! Gol! Toma lá que já almoçaste.
Mas, bom, ainda bem. Mas estava a dizer, depois podíamos subir ao Paúl da Serra, porque amanhã parece que o céu vai estar limpo e depois fazíamos a caminhada até o Pico Ruivo.
Sim, mulher, o que tu achares está bom. Bora! Mais 2 ou 3, pá.
Mas antes precisamos de comprar comida e água para levarmos connosco. E convém levarmos casacos quentes, porque lá em cima deve ser ventoso e deve fazer um frio de rachar.
Então,
Olha, faltou a luz.
não acredito.
Okay, so let's translate this into English.
All right.
So my line, I go first. So, love, is your team winning?
Is this not a foul?
One
One out of the two. Either this referee is blind or he's been bought.
Doesn't seem like it is. Listen, maybe tomorrow we could stop by at a cafe to try those queijadas da Madeira. I've been told that they're very good. What do you think? Then we could go up to Paúl da Serra because tomorrow it seems like we're going to have a clear sky.
Go!
Yes, that's nice.
Yeah.
And the expression.
We'll talk about this later. There you go for you've had lunch.
Mas estava a dizer, but I was saying, then we could go up to Paúl da Serra because tomorrow it seems like the sky is going to be a clear one. And then we could go for a walk up to Pico Ruivo.
Yes, woman. Whatever you think is good. Come on. 2 or 3 more.
But before, we need to buy some food and water to take with us. And it's probably best to take some warm jackets because up there must be windy and it must be very cold.
And then there's a power cut. And I go, what's up?
Look, power outage.
And I say, I don't believe it. Okay, good. So let's go to the top and try and break this down slowly so you all understand. So you start off.
Yeah.
Because we're in the room. Obviously, the TV is on. I'm watching the football. And you ask me a question.
So we'll start off by so, love. Então, amor. Amor. Então, amor. Is your team winning? A tua equipa? A tua equipa está a ganhar? Está a ganhar? A tua equipa está a ganhar?
Okay, good. And then I don't really acknowledge what you said, Carla, because I'm focused on the game.
Yes.
So I ask in a rhetorical question, sarcastic question. Is this not a foul?
Is he kidding you?
Yeah. Falta. Falta. That's foul in Portuguese. Also the word for missing something. Or is it something you miss? Falta. Não é falta. Is not foul. Não é falta. Isto. This. Isto. And the whole question. Isto não é falta. And then I say, out of the two, one, which is a common colloquial expression. Das duas, uma. Out of the two, or you don't actually say out of, we just say of.
From the two.
Yeah, from the two, one. Das duas, uma. Das duas, uma. Notice that at the end of das and the end of duas, we have that sh, sh. Das duas, uma. And then I say, either this referee is blind. Actually, this cegueta is not really blind. It's sort of like...
It is colloquial, but it is...
It's not completely blind, though. Cegueta is somebody who has poor sight more than absolutely blind. But it's a way of... It's a funny, perhaps slightly offensive way of saying it, but it's not overly offensive. Este árbitro. This referee. Este árbitro. Tricky word, I guess. Árbitro. Este árbitro é. Este árbitro é. And then the poor-sighted man. Cegueta. 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 Este árbitro é cegueta. Or it was bought. Bought, comprado. Comprado. From the verb comprar. Ou foi. Ou was. Ou foi. Ou foi comprado. Ok. Isto não é falta. Das duas, uma. Este árbitro é cegueta ou foi comprado.
Yeah. And then I replied to my own question when I asked you, is your team winning? So I realized that it isn't. So it doesn't seem like it is. Parece que não. Parece que não. Parece que não. Olha lá. Listen. Se calhar, maybe, se calhar amanhã, maybe tomorrow, se calhar amanhã, podíamos passar num café. We could stop by at a cafe. Podíamos passar num café. To try the queijadas of Madeira. Para experimentar. Para experimentar. Really, if we say it quicker, para experimentar.
Yes. So you almost
Drop the E.
there, you drop it out, but yeah.
Para experimentar as queijadas da Madeira. So I'm going to do that line again. Olha lá, se calhar amanhã podíamos passar num café para experimentar as queijadas da Madeira. I was told they're very good. Disseram-me que são, I was told that they are. Disseram-me que são muito boas. What do you think? O que é que tu achas? O que é que tu achas?
There goes the o que é que, which you'll see a lot. Now, we should say queijadas, Carla. Have you ever tried a queijada?
Yeah.
When you were there?
But
You did?
I'm not a lover of queijadas in general because you can get them from different places. Sintra apparently is
Yeah, they make very
popular, aren't they?
good. I guess if you know a bit of
Évora.
Portuguese, maybe you know that this is similar to the word for cheese. Queijo. So queijadas are, do you call it a pastry? I guess they are pastry,
It's a
but
sweet.
they're made out of cream cheese, I guess.
Yeah, requeijão. It's similar to cottage cheese, isn't it? It's sort of a milk product, but it's not actual.
I love
cheese.
queijadas. Every time I go there, I have to have one every
Yes.
morning and come back much fatter. Anyway, yes. Sorry, I in the video version. I
No,
forgot
it's
to
okay. It's
pull
your
that down.
line, actually.
Yes, my
although
line
you don't say
translated
much
to
there.
English is mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's about it.
Then I say, depois podíamos subir ao Paul da Serra. Then we could go up to Paul da Serra. Podíamos subir. We could go up. Podíamos subir. Then we could go up. Depois podíamos subir. Depois podíamos subir ao Paul da Serra. Ao Paul da Serra. Because tomorrow it seems like the sky is going to be clean, meaning clear, no
yeah.
clouds. Porque amanhã, because tomorrow, porque amanhã, parece que o céu, it seems like the sky, parece que o céu está limpo. It's clear. Está limpo.
Notice that in two of the words that you've said there, Carla, porque amanhã, you've joined, because those two words, one ends with a vowel, the other one starts with a vowel. You sort of joined them together, didn't you?
Yeah.
Porque amanhã.
So the E that should normally be silent in Portuguese European sounds like an I. Porque amanhã parece que o céu está limpo.
And if, I guess, colloquially, you'll even find a further step, which is to just delete the E altogether.
Yeah.
And put the A in front of the
Porque
QU.
amanhã.
Porque amanhã.
Que o céu. Porque amanhã parece que o céu está limpo.
Yeah. But you said Q-cell, which is quite
Which
common
is
as well.
the way I say it, yeah.
Yes. And Paul de Serra, what is that, Carla? So people who don't know.
It's a tourist attraction. It's like a plateau. It's I can't remember how long that is, but I think it's the longest in Madeira. So it's always a spot that people tend to go visit, and they're able to, if it's visible, if there's no clouds, you're able to see the ocean on the north coast and from the south coast.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So that's my line now. I guess I said, well, there was a goal on television. So I said golo. You'll probably hear this whenever there's a Portuguese football game on TV. They could do say this word for a long time until they're out of breath.
They dwell on the first golo.
They do.
For a long time. For as long as they can hold their breath, I suppose.
Yeah. I'll probably put a link, because there's a really cool one. When
famous, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a I think he's from Antena 1, which is I guess it's a public radio in Portugal, Antena 1 or RDP1. And there was one particular game when Portugal qualified for the World Cup, I think.
I cannot remember that.
For Sweden, and Ronaldo scored 2 or 3 goals, and he was going absolutely crazy. But anyway, I might put the link for that later. And then I said this idiomatic expression, toma lá que já almoçaste. And we're adding a new feature here in the podcast. Whenever we find or come across an idiomatic expression, and then we'll try to explain it in a way that all of you can get it, and even put it into context. But we call this not in a textbook moment. not in a textbook moment. So let's take it away. Toma lá que já almoçaste. The literal translation would be,
There you have it. You've already had lunch.
but the real meaning is,
When something bad happens to someone and you're happy about it.
now the equivalent expression in English would probably be,
Serves you right.
let's put it into context.
Let's say your team scores a goal and you say that to the other team or supporters. Or you use it when someone is annoying you and suddenly they trip over.
So there you go. Toma lá que já almoçaste. So let's say that together. Almoçaste. Já almoçaste. Que já almoçaste. The beginning bit. Toma lá. Toma lá que já almoçaste. Okay, so the whole expression that I use, or the whole sentence, golo. Toma lá que já almoçaste.
Okay, then we have my line. Mas estava a dizer. Notice the word tava there should be estava, E-S-T-A-V-A. That's the verb estar, to be. Oftentimes we drop the es. It doesn't matter really what tense you find the verb in, we will still drop the es. And sometimes just drop the e. So there, I dropped both, and I said,
Just
mas
dropping the E, you mean estava.
estava, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
O que eu estava a dizer.
Yeah, it's very
O que estava a
common too.
dizer. Mas estava a dizer. But I was saying. Mas estava a dizer. Mas estava a dizer. And once again. Mas estava a dizer. Depois podíamos subir ao Paul da Serra. I've already said this line earlier, so I'm going to repeat it once more. Depois podíamos subir ao Paul da Serra.
I think it did the whole thing up until limpo.
Porque amanhã, because tomorrow, parece que o céu vai estar limpo. Parece que o céu vai estar limpo. It seems that the sky is going to be clear. E depois, and then, e depois, fazíamos a caminhada. We would do the walk. Fazíamos a caminhada até ao Pico Ruivo. Until the. Até ao Pico Ruivo. Okay?
All right. Then, again, not paying any attention to what you're saying, Carla. I say, yes, woman, whatever you think is good. And then turning back to the TV, come on, two or three more goals. Sim, mulher. A lot of people, when I call you woman,
Here in England.
they get a bit flustered, I guess.
Yeah,
Because it's not common.
Really
and
a
it's,
term of endearment over here, is it?
but in Portugal, it's okay. You hear that quite a lot. My woman. A
Well,
minha
even
mulher.
because mulher, it's the word for wife, isn't it?
Yes.
As
yeah.
well as woman.
They still you still hear the my man, as in o meu homem,
Yeah.
but it's not as common.
No.
It's often associated with lower class speech, put it that way, or lower class people. I don't want to be offensive, but it is. When
I
you
quite
hear
like it. Maybe I'm
Well,
lower
that's-
class, I don't know, but yeah, I like it.
meu homem. Anyway, so sim, mulher. 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 Sim, mulher. O que tu achares está bom. What do you think? Whatever you think is good. Tá, the ta there, of course, should be está,
So it's that verb
but we
again.
drop it. Tá bom. Tá bom. Achares, think. Achares. Tu achares. O que? What? O que tu achares. And the whole thing. O que tu achares tá bom. The whole line. Sim, mulher. O que tu achares tá bom. And then I say, bora. Bora is slang for come on, let's go.
Meaning the word should have been embora, no? E-M-B-O-R-A.
As in out
Vamos
of.
embora.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come on. No?
Bora.
Bora.
So let's go. Come on, team. 2 or 3 more. Mais. And it's likely you probably heard these numbers before. You probably know them well. At least some of you will. 2 ou 3. Mais 2 ou 3. And then just that little pa at the end. That pragmatic word that we've been talking about quite a bit. Just, I don't know what the English equivalent to pa would be. It's just an emphatic
2
thing.
or 3 more. Hey.
To add at the end,
I
yeah.
don't know. Hey. So
No, yeah.
Not really.
It's an emphatic, you put it anywhere. It's a friendly word. you certainly wouldn't use it formally. But people would put it at the beginning and end of sentences just when they're enthusiastic about something. Okay, so that's me. Bora. Mais 2 ou 3 pá. Okay.
Ready. So I've got a long line again. But before, we need to buy food and water to take with us. Mas antes, and that S from mush is going to turn into a Z sort of sound because it's in between vowels, even though it's not the same word. So there's an A before it and there's an A from the following word ahead. So when I say it quickly, I say mas antes, mas antes, mas antes, precisamos de comprar, we need to buy, precisamos de comprar. Again, there's that S in precisamos, it's in between vowels, Z sound. Precisamos de comprar comida e água. Food and water. Comida e água. To take with us. Para levarmos conosco. I suppose I could have just said para levarmos, so we can take, not with us, but I suppose we do that.
You said it the natural way, don't you? I learned the other day, this is absolutely not related at all. Maybe just a little bit.
Right.
The word, did you know the word for meat is
Carne.
for carne, flesh, meat. In English, that word used to mean food in general. That was a word for food.
Meat.
Yeah. But then it was funneled into just this small, narrow meaning of meat. Before they used to call meat flesh. Anyway,
okay.
I don't know why I said that, but
No, I don't know why that came to mind, but never mind. So let's just repeat that first bit. Mas antes precisamos de comprar comida e água para levarmos conosco.
Comida e água. It's interesting because you have 3 vowels.
Comida e água. Comida e água. Comida e água. Drop the A from comida at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the second half of that line. E convém levarmos casacos quentes, porque lá em cima deve ser ventoso e deve fazer frio de rachar. And it's convenient that we take warm jackets because up there it must be windy and it must make a cold that cracks.
Yes.
Literally. Okay, so it must be very cold up there. Okay, so let's say that one slowly. E convém levarmos casacos quentes. Levarmos casacos quentes.
Am I wrong in saying that conveying there comes from the convenient sort of family?
Yeah.
It is convenient for us to. It's not the same thing as convenient, but it's like.
É conveniente.
Yeah.
But it's the same sort of family of words, isn't it? And it's because you can't say it conveys. That's
a different thing.
It sounds like it's a false friend, isn't it? It sounds the same, but it's a different meaning altogether. Okay. Levarmos casacos quentes. Porque lá em cima, because there, up top or above, porque lá em cima, deve ser ventoso. Must be windy. Deve ser ventoso. Deve ser ventoso. E deve fazer um frio de rachar. And it must be very cold. E deve fazer um frio de rachar. Let's look at that expression. Frio de rachar. A cold that cracks. Cracks you open. Okay. Frio de rachar.
I guess you can imagine those cartoons where a character gets completely frozen, so it becomes a block of ice.
It falls and it breaks to pieces?
It cracks. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There you are. So the whole line. Mas antes precisamos de comprar comida e água para levarmos connosco. E convém levarmos casacos quentes, porque lá em cima deve ser ventoso e deve fazer um frio de rachar.
Good. And then suddenly the television sound goes away.
Everything goes
abruptly off. Because we have a power cut or power outage. So I just say, don't. This is one of those words that doesn't mean something.
Well, no, it is shortened for então.
Yes, but it doesn't mean as in it doesn't represent a piece of grammar. It doesn't represent a noun really, even though people will probably put it into a specific category. But what that word is doing there is simply displaying surprise and counter expectation. It's another one of those pragmatic words. Don't.
So what would the English equivalent be? What's this?
What happened? It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the English. Yeah, what happened would probably.
What the heck?
What the heck? What the heck? Yes, that's good. That's good. What the heck? Don't. So you could do. That's a really good one. Different from.
When you're surprised at something.
Yeah, exactly. It's counter expectation. You're surprised.
Don't. Yeah. So it can be used surprised, but sometimes it could be even in a positive sort of.
Oh yeah, it's not
negative.
There's no specific connotation to negative stuff. Yeah.
You see a friend, you haven't seen him for a long time. Don't vá.
Yeah, let's think of the video that we recorded.
Yeah.
Okay, so I say, because I'm surprised, I say don't. And then you explain what
I realize
goes on.
What happened. Olha. What would olha be in this sentence?
Again, that's a pragmatic word. It doesn't mean look somewhere. You're not telling me to look. It's just...
I suppose drawing your attention.
Yes.
Faltou a luz. Faltou a luz.
The light is missing.
Yeah, the light's gone. Faltou. The light missed.
The light missed, yeah.
Literally. Yeah.
There's a power cut.
And it's the same word for falta. Foul. You spoke earlier. Falta in a game.
Yes,
like a football game,
it's the same family of words. Now, we would never say power as in poder for electricity. We would never use that.
No.
We might use eletricidade. So faltou a eletricidade. Houve corte. There was a cut in electricity. But oftentimes people just say luz. So they refer to light as electricity in general.
That's right.
I guess the English might use that too. Right?
Yeah. Faltou a luz. That's the common expression, isn't
Yes,
it? If
very
there's a
common.
power outage. Faltou a luz. And notice that the Z at the end of luz, if you see a Z at the end of words, it's not Z, luz. It's like an S at the end. You know the SH sound that the Portuguese, in particular Portuguese European, have when they speak? This is it. Z's and S's at the end and before consonants. Yeah, sh, luz. Okay, faltou a luz.
Okay. So, because I'm so frustrated because I was watching the game,
You can't believe it.
I say, I can't believe it. Não acredito. Não acredito. Literally, I can't believe it.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Yes, that is the literal yes. Okay, good. I think that's it for the thingy, the storyline for today.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now I didn't want to mention we put an article on our website, which I think is probably one of the best ones especially if you're a newbie, a complete beginner, beg your pardon. One of the first things that people should have, and I think I'm not wrong in saying this, that Carla, you always say this to your students, that one of the things they must have to start off is their own vocabulary notebook.
Oh yeah.
There's there's phrase notebook, there's diaries that can be introduced later, but a vocabulary notebook is essential.
Yeah, and you should always go over it as often as you can. Remind yourselves of what the notes you made, the words you've learned so far. Make up sentences with these words, maybe on the day that you've learned them, 2 days later,
Yes.
the week after that. But you don't have to try too hard. I mean, just read through your words, just read through your notes. And then, that should be easier for you to remember and recall these words to mind.
Yes, there's very good advice there. And this article it's more about how to create that notebook. How do you structure a notebook? Do you just make a list of words? Well, you can, and there's nothing bad with that, but you can make it better. And knowing how our brain works can help you structure a notebook in the best way possible. And this article just gives you just simple 4 ingredients for creating a good vocabulary notebook. And I'll just go through them here quickly, but just read through the article. It's on portuguesewithcarla.com/blog, and it's just entitled The Ultimate Vocabulary Notebook. I'll put a link on the portuguesewithcarla.com/podcast16. But just the four ingredients are semantic chunking, which we've talked about in the past. Divide your notebook into semantic areas. So meaning of words. So if you have words that mean sadness, then put all those in the same section. If you have words for kitchen utensils, put those in the same section. Ingredient number 2 would be that you take the time to write every single word. Don't do the copy and paste, which is easy to do. Preferably, I actually say write them down with your hand.
Well, handwrite,
cursive.
rather than typing it.
Yes. Third ingredient, and I explained why these things are recommended. The third ingredient is to use a target-based target schema. So you put the Portuguese word, put the English word in front of it, and then put the Portuguese word again. If you want to do the phonetic version of that, that's fine. But put the Portuguese word twice in the same line. And then ingredient number 4 is probably the most interesting of them all. Maybe this one you haven't come across. These are, I'm going to call them connection quadrants. You get basically below a word that is particularly hard for you to memorize. For these, you can create little quadrants or little squares inside of which you would put elements that will remind you of that word, make it easy for your brain to memorize.
So the actual word in Portuguese?
Yes, so
an image associated to that word?
Perhaps an image, a common English root. So you did one with a customer the other day, a student. What was the word he wanted to remember? Do you remember?
No. Dent? Was it dent?
Maybe. It was something about
one.
Hanging on something. I can't remember now.
No, I can't remember.
Dent is a good one. So if you want to remember the word for tooth, dent, then you would put a similar or a word in English with the same root. For example, dentist.
Yeah, that's a fairly easy. Well, that should be easy to remember,
Yeah,
shouldn't it?
but there are words that are harder.
And a picture of dent, and then phonetics.
You could put a phonetic, you could put a personal connection. So somebody that, if you wanted to remember the word for anger, raiva, then you maybe put someone that makes you angry, perhaps a character in a movie or something like that. And you could put synonyms, antonyms, all sorts of things you can put in these quadrants to make that connection. It is well known that the more connections your brain has to a particular word, a particular element, a particular memory, the easier it is the more paths it will have to reach that element and to bring it back to memory. So anyway, there's a lot more information there, especially about the quadrants on the website, but I'll let you go and dig that up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So we should mention YouTube. So this podcast is available on iTunes or any TuneIn radio, any really podcast app that you can download. Search for Portuguese with Carla and subscribe. It's always easier because you get these things automatically every week.
Yeah, I think this is it for today, isn't it? Do you want to remind them of...
YouTube? Yeah, so youtube.com/Portuguese with Carla. And Twitter, I guess, PT with Carla. Then you will get all the articles and all the podcasts, the alert for them right there. Okay?
Yeah, that's lovely.
Okay. All right, guys. Let me put the jingle here. And jingle, where are you? There. And then we can say goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye.
All right. See you later.
Dá para o Gabriel, dá para o Ronaldo, o Gabriel, o próprio Cristiano Ronaldo, está isolado Cristiano Ronaldo, vai para Cristiano Ronaldo, mete, bateu, golo! Ronaldo, obrigado Cristiano, muito obrigado, ele é o cara, 1000 vezes Ronaldo, última chamada.